Yes, thank you, Stephen. So I'll kick off. Good evening, members. My name is Pat McGorry. I'm the current president, and I've been very honoured and grateful to have been elected unopposed. But so I'll just talk more generally about the issues as I see them. First of all, I'd like to share a bit of my background. I was born in Dublin during the economically hard times of the 1950s. And that forced my family to migrate to South Wales at first, and then when I was 15 to New South Wales. My father's family were from Cavan and Donegal, and my mother's from Donegal and Belfast. My father grew up in Clones and Monaghan, and my mother in Mountjoy Square in Dublin. Now, although I've spent most of my life in Australia and 37 years in Melbourne, I've always identified very strongly with my heritage as an Irish Australian. I was lucky enough about 10 years ago to reconnect with Ireland through a sabbatical period in Dublin, where I helped to develop the Irish National Youth Mental Health Foundation, now known as Jigsaw. At that time, my youngest son, Fionn, remained there and finished high school and university in Dublin, and that reconnected us all with our background and heritage. And got two other sons, Liam and Niall, and my wife, Marilyn, also has a strong Irish Australian heritage even with Irish convict ancestry back in the 1840s. I joined the Celtic Club pretty recently, and I didn't know an awful lot about its inspiring history and legacy, nor of its trials and tribulations. And learning of the predicament it was in and struggling with, I wondered if I could actually help. And my professional experience, I'd like to talk a little bit about that, because I'm not only a specialist in psychiatry and youth mental health and in medical research, but largely what I've done with my career is the creation and growth of organizations, healthcare organizations, obviously, but complex ones as well. So over the years, I've had a series of increasingly demanding roles in leadership and management and governance, including 20 years as a company director in relation to Headspace and Origin. So I think I've got experience in team building, government relations, advocacy, communications and media. And these are the things I really would like to share and devote to helping the club move into a much more positive future. I joined the Committee of Management mid last year through a casual vacancy, and I was immediately struck, almost by, I could say shocked, by the very weak and confusing governance and financial structures in the club, which was causing a lot of chaos for the organization. I've learned since this has been a problem which has been endemic for a number of years. And it's actually created a lot of the conflicts and poor management practices that you all know about. Confusion and conflict were everywhere I looked. This is really unsustainable. So over the course of the past 12 months, what I've tried to do is work with key support from Brian initially, who unselfishly stepped back, from Ronan, Carl, and other committee members to induce some order and some sound financial management and transparency into the club, how it operates. And that was clearly what I was hearing from members and what they wanted. And that was confirmed in recent public meetings and forums. So a key thing was replacement of the previous staff with new transitional management team. That was decisive, and it's turned the club's fortunes around. These changes have been resisted, but they haven't derailed the process. And I'm not going to be critical of individuals here. I want us to put all of that sort of conflict and blame, all of those dynamics which have poisoned the club really in recent years, I want to try and put those behind us. We are at a crossroads for the club. We've reached the point where it's again possible for the club to have an extremely positive future. But there are several key elements that have to be addressed if that's to occur. There has to be an end to this division, factionalism, and personal attacks. We have to have a change in culture which is based on traditional Irish and Australian values of openness, welcoming, fairness, generosity, and the concept of a fair go. Non-sectarian and apolitical, those are givens, I think, too. We need a committee of management which follows the advice of JFK, which says, ask not what the Celtic Club can do for you, but what you can do for the Celtic Club. We need to leave behind this mentality of secrecy, entitlement, and self-interest, which I've seen some examples of. So we also need to get a renewed respect for the members, past, present, and future. The club must safeguard the thread of the legacy and the proud history of Irish Australia, but it will die as many similar clubs are dying if it doesn't become relevant to the present age and the future. And that means reinvention. And reinvention is something that everyone has a role in contributing to. We have to have sound financial management and a business plan that will ensure the aims of the club can be pursued in a sustainable way. Cultural revival, the arts, sport, language, social activities across the spectrum, lots of ideas have already emerged in this space, and it's looking very positive. We have to have debates on the key policy issues with the members, not just the committee, to ensure that the future committee is guided by the values and aspirations of members and future members. So the issues of a home for the club, a long-term home and venues and gaming, all those issues have to be looked at carefully in the future. So I'd like to urge every member to please vote. A lot of members don't vote. I won't focus on individual candidates, but I want to stress the vital importance of a unified team with a common vision. The club for too long has been undermined and brought undone by division and disunity. Unity is the only hope for a positive future. And I'll appeal to all of you listening, and anyone that listens later, when this is more widely disseminated, to consider what kind of club you want to see in the future. One that you can once again be proud to be a member of, and one which reflects well and not badly on the Irish Australian community. So we have to have a positive future. And I'll stop there, Stephen. Thank you.